Yelling.
Joining us now, the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We've been having some fun discussing impeachment with you here off the air, and the visual of Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff wheeling the impeachment articles over to the Senate. And I'm telling you, I want one of those. What was it? Astro Flyers? What are those wagons called? The red wagons,
Right.
I want the impeachment articles in one of those with Jerry Nadler pulling it.
What
and
those
Adam Schiff
radio
pushing it.
flyers?
Radio flyers. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, in one of those. So what happened? Do we have a timeline on this, Tom?
I presume the House is meeting together to ratify what Pelosi has decided to do, which is to send the impeachment articles over. Senate Democrats want it. They want to get it over with. So all of this has resulted in just a delay of the president getting some justice, which, of course, is par for the course out of the coup cabal running the House. This has been an abuse of the Constitution. It's been an abuse of the president, and they were abusing the Senate, and the Senate would only take it. They were happy to take it while they were away for vacation, but they didn't want to be made a mockery of for too long. Neither Democrats or Republicans.
I mean, and everything that Nancy Pelosi has been saying in public and the leadership in the House seems like so unserious. Yesterday, Adam Schiff was asked, why don't you just subpoena John Bolton in the House? Why don't you just send him a subpoena? He was asked about it yesterday. He's like, oh, no, I don't want to expose him as a hypocrite. I'll let the Senate impeach him. I mean, subpoena him, rather. Like, what? Like, you didn't do your work. You think this guy should testify. Like, what are these bizarre contortions they're putting themselves through?
Well, this is not a legitimate process. A legitimate process, they would have pursued the witnesses they thought necessary to their case. But when you're engaged in an abusive process, speed and secrecy and a lack of respect for the rule of law are the hallmarks. And you saw that happening throughout the process. And now they're making it up as they go along. They need Bolton's testimony. And I don't know if the president is going to allow Mr. Bolton to testify.
He said Friday he's going to invoke executive privilege if that happens.
And so that will be the end of that. My concern is there should never have really been a Senate trial, in the sense that the coup cabal shouldn't receive the fruits of their corruption, which is the Senate trial, an abusive trial of the president, given the lack of information behind the impeachment, the lack of criminality, the abuse of the president's due process rights, his God-given rights. The Senate shouldn't have engaged in this trial. To the degree they do anything, it should be just a little mini trial of the Schiff's prosecutorial abuse, and then they can figure out if they want to mess with that further once that's confirmed in testimony and an investigation by the Senate. But instead, this is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be a Senate trial. It's going to be 2 weeks of abuse of President Trump. There's no majority for President Trump's witnesses, but there is a majority to further harass the president by bringing in his top officials to testify about nothing, because we all know the president didn't do anything wrong. And the fact is, he's being impeached for asking questions about corruption in the Democratic Party, and he's being impeached for trying to assert his authority and his prerogatives and his rights as a citizen under the Constitution. This is a wild abuse of power, and that's why I keep on calling it a coup.
So if they do go to bringing in witnesses, as you said, the Democrats will get their witnesses. They're going to get what they want, because the Democrats always get what they want and Republicans never get what they want. Do you see then Republicans saying, okay, well, we're going to call witnesses too. We want Adam Schiff. We want the whistleblower. We want the person in Adam Schiff's office that the whistleblower spoke to, and on and on.
I think President Trump will be wanting that, and he'll be told he doesn't have the majority to bring in those witnesses. And instead, those witnesses that the Senate does have the majority for, all the Democrats, more or less, plus 3 or 4 or 5 Republicans to get them over the hump for 51 votes. He's going to be told they only have votes for Bolton. They don't have any votes to bring in your witnesses. You're not going to be allowed to make the argument that you had good faith reasons for asking about Ukrainian corruption.
You don't think Republicans will have 51 who will turn around and say that we need to bring in these other witnesses as well? You don't think so?
No.
No, because of Susan Collins.
No.
Who's saying that she's got a small group of Republicans who are open to calling the witnesses the Democrats want.
But has she commented on the witnesses the Republicans want?
No,
because the Republicans haven't come out with a list.
I haven't heard any of that. Look, I think to the degree the Republicans are interested in having witnesses, they want enough witnesses so that they are reassure the American people. I don't believe this political analysis is bunk, but this is their thinking. They think they need to have the witnesses the Democrats have said they needed in order for it to make it seem like a legitimate process.
Susan Collins should go back to what she was saying a couple days ago, which is like, why would I be on Chuck Schumer's team? Chuck Schumer's spending $700,000 in my state to defeat me. Why would I be on Chuck Schumer's team? She should remember what Susan Collins said a couple days ago, because she is Susan Collins. She should remember that and assess it before they move forward.
Well, they should recognize the president had no due process rights. He had no ability to call witnesses. He couldn't have his lawyers there during the secret testimony. They made it impossible for him to defend himself. And now the Senate seemingly is going to ratify that with a trial that further abuses his rights in the sense that it will likely deny him the ability to call any witnesses. But but as I said, the whole process should be blown up in that regard. And to the degree there's anything that takes place, it should be a preliminary hearing on the prosecutorial misconduct of Schiff and Company, so we can figure out whether there was ever a good faith basis to have impeachment. And that way you get it kind of vetted in a public setting, but without this full circus and abuse of a full Senate trial.
All right, more coming up with Tom Fitton. And welcome back. We're here with Tom Fitton from Judicial. Watch, Tom, we were just talking about the FISA court and what's happening there. Would you like to elaborate for the audience?
Well, you've had a change in the leadership of the FISA court. An Obama appointee has been selected by Chief Justice Roberts to lead the court. Previously, the FISA court had told the FBI, after pretending not to know for 2 years, that there was corruption in the FISA spy warrants on Trump. Tell us why we should believe you on anything you have to say related to FISA court warrants. And Director Wray filed something last Friday. He said, well, we regret the errors, and we've got these new bureaucratic processes in place to make sure that we don't lie again to you. I didn't see anything in the way of accountability for those who broke the law, acted in a way that showed contempt of court in a criminal fashion. And so Judge Boasberg said, well, I'm going to appoint an amicus. I'm going to appoint someone who's going to help the court evaluate the proposed FISA reforms. And it turns out it's a former Obama appointee who worked in the Justice Department National Security Division, a Mr. Chris, and who has made it, as many former Obama appointees have done, his mission to undermine the president, attack the president, protect the FBI on this FISA abuse, attack Devin Nunes for calling attention to it. So he's defended the indefensible for the last 2-3 years, and now he's being asked and being blessed by the FISA court, this partisan, this anti-Trumper, to help them clean up the FISA process. I tell you what, the court in one fell swoop, incredibly on top of everything else that has happened, really significantly has undermined people's confidence in its ability to fairly administer justice, to put it charitably.
You think they care? I don't think they care. I think they just want to keep their power. This is about power. And you talk about how no one's been punished. That I don't think anyone who mildly pays attention, mildly is aware, expects anyone to be punished, because you have the ruling elite. And if you're high enough up in the government and you are high enough, your letter and number after your name is high enough up there, you will not be punished.
This is the worst corruption scandal in American history. And the Fox just hired another member of the team to figure out how the chickens were all slaughtered. Mm-hmm. And this is just... if I were President Trump, I'd say, you know what, Justice Department and FBI, I know I've got people running it, but you know what, those institutions have been so thoroughly corrupted by the last administration. The bureaucracy there obviously has it in for me and has zero concern about the accountability, as Mary has pointed out. I'm going to hire my own special counsel as President of the United States to figure out about these crimes, because the court I can't trust. They're working hand in glove with the bureaucracy because no one seems to care about the fact they were spying on me and other innocent Americans, accusing me of being a traitor, practically speaking, through all the leaks, and no one seemingly is getting prosecuted. We need to have the American people have their confidence restored that someone's running the show here.
Yeah, might be time to get rid of the FISA court entirely. Thank you, Tom Fitton. Good to talk to you. Thank you, Tom Fitton. Good to talk.